Hey guys, John here from JK Conditioning with PodiumRunner.com, and here are 3 tips to help you perform the single leg Romanian deadlift. If this is your first time here, we make videos to help you improve your workouts. So check us out on social media and subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with all our latest fitness videos to help you become a stronger runner. So the Romanian deadlift is a common exercise found in strength training programs for runners. It's a great exercise because it strengthens the glutes, the hamstrings, and the lower back. The glutes in particular, though, are commonly weak in runners, so it's very important that runners do exercises that incorporate a deadlift type movement pattern in their training programs to improve the strength of their glutes. To make the exercise a little bit more running specific, the single leg Romanian deadlift is a great variation for you to do. So in this video today, I'm going to give you 3 tips to help you perform the single leg Romanian deadlift. Alright, so tip number 1, we want to learn how to bend the hip and not bend the spine. Place one hand on your stomach and the other hand on your lower back. Stand with your feet hip width apart and soften your knees. What I want you to do is I want you to feel like you're bowing over, like you're just, sang in front of a crowd, and I want you to push your hips back. I want you to push your chest over the front of your feet as you're bowing, and I want you to notice that in between your hands, your spine isn't changing shape. As you approach 90 degrees of bending, or what we call flexion at the hip, you should notice tension in your hamstrings. This is a good tension, and this will tell you that you're actually bending through the hip correctly and not putting any stress through that low back. Go ahead and stand and squeeze your glutes at the top. This will finish the movement. Practice this movement several times so that you can notice that as you're moving, you're bending through the hip, not the knees and not the lower back. So this movement is actually called the bilateral Romanian deadlift because you have both feet on the ground side by side. All right, tip number 2 is actually staggering the feet and learning how to actually place a little bit more weight on one leg than the other. So stand with your feet hip width apart and slide one foot so that the toes line up with the heel of the other foot. Kind of make that leg a kickstand and put 90% of your weight on that front foot. So your heel will be lifted on the back foot, the front foot flat. Keep that knee soft. Keep one hand on the stomach, one hand on the lower back. And again, I want you to bow over that front foot, that front leg. And I want you to notice that you're putting a little bit more weight through that front leg so that hamstring is going to notice a little bit more tension than it did when you had both feet side by side. So this is called a staggered Romanian deadlift. And this will kind of get us in that pattern of learning how to put more weight on one leg than the other. All right, tip 3, finally, learning how to do a proper single leg Romanian deadlift. We're going to use a bar or a handle on the treadmill or a wall in front of you. I want you to stand about 5 feet from that part, that thing that you can hang on to. And what I want you to do is stand on one leg completely. I want you to lift the other leg behind you, and I want you to slowly bow over as if you did, as if you're doing that Romanian deadlift. And what I want you to do is I want you to reach that leg, the leg that's in the air behind you, long, as if you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your foot. And I want you to reach forward for that bar or that treadmill handle or that wall in front of you. And I want you to create a capital letter T. So I want you to feel like your back is completely flat and parallel to the floor. Your shoulders and your hips are also in line. So a common mistake is that the hips will be too lifted versus the shoulders, or the spine changes shape as you're bowing through the hip. So those 2 things, try not to do either of those. And then once you get into that capital letter T position, just stay there for a bit and hang on to that wall or that bar for balance, and really notice that you're pushing away from that object as you create that capital letter T. This is a true single leg Romanian deadlift in a sense that the other leg is not on the floor anymore. As you push yourself away from that surface that you're hanging onto with your hands, you're going to notice that you're kind of pushing your weight into that hip a little bit more, that stance leg hip, and that should make you feel a little bit more tension in that hamstring. Go ahead and stand and try to squeeze that glute on that stance leg. As you stand, I want you to feel like your shoulder and your heel that's lifted, they move at the same time. So if your shoulders move up, your foot will move down. And then as you practice the next rep, as the heel lifts up, the shoulders will move down at the same time. So I want you to feel like there's a rod connecting the shoulder to the heel as you move. And then this will allow you to hinge correctly on that stance leg hip. So there you have it, guys. 3 tips to improve your single leg Romanian deadlift. I hope you found the video useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and we'll see you in the next video.